Eh? Yeah, sit down.
Congratulations. We are so happy for you.
Thank you.
And to start with, I know it has been an amazing journey for the past 9 years. So it has been a wonderful one. So love to hear your stories, your beautiful experience so far for these 9 years. Then I have so many questions for you.
Many.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So how do you feel having
Give me the
spent
topic.
9 good years together,
Stop this.
then with your choice partner? How do you feel?
Well, it's beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, spending almost 9 years. Okay, 9 years
Nine
today.
years already.
Yeah, it's been a very awesome experience
Yeah.
so far. Thank you.
Okay. So Ma, how do you feel?
It's been amazing. It's been
Do you
amazing.
feel
It's
like
been fulfilling.
yeah,
Yes, because having my husband in my life has opened me up to a lot of things. Like he has pulled me up to excellence. He has brought
See,
out.
it's not the time to make my head swell though.
He has brought out the hidden thing inside of me, and I'm grateful to God for making our way part and making our paths cross.
yes.
I want to give glory to God for that because His gift in my life is beyond what mouth can tell, and I give glory to God because I am getting better every day with Him on my side.
Wow, thank you so much. And can you kindly share your love story, how it all started? How did you know? Okay, let me start with how did you know that she's the will of God, and how did you know it's the will of God for you in marriage? So,
You want to start?
how did you?
My own will be brief.
You should start.
Okay,
My own will be brief because if she start her own, we'll still here today.
okay, let's hear.
Okay. But you know, I can't really tell, but over time I have learned uh, how God speaks to me. Yeah, and mostly through impression in my mind. Uh, Most time when God is speaking to me, I know maybe because of the relationship I've built with God over time. God has made Himself so easy for us to relate with. So with that, I know that if I know when what I'm hearing is from God. It just happened. I think I was in 500 level in university, in medical school, when it came to my mind that she's going to be like an impression in my mind. She's going to be the person I'm going to marry. So, and the moment I find that out, I went to meet our pastors, discuss with them, and then after that, the rest is history. They guide us through the process, and here we are. Mm.
Okay, so okay, my let's hear your.
Okay.
That's it. Very short.
I still have
um,
question for you regarding
Okay.
oh, really? Okay. How do we even start? Sef? Okay, let me start from. I knew him even before we started relationship. He was my secondary school teacher.
that. Okay.
So he was my chemistry teacher when I was in secondary school, and it's never for one day crossed my mind that he was going to be my husband. But as God will have us, when he went to his own school and I went to my other school, I think it was when I was going to 300 level in that my former school. That was when I saw the revelation. And prior to that time, I already knew I saw him as a settled person. So I was not even looking at it in the light of we getting married at all. I knew that oh no, this man is settled, and I've even prayed for him that whosoever is going to be your wife because not being my teacher alone, he happens to be my mentor. I got converted through him. So with a lot of things I learned that I never thought my mentor, somebody I got converted through, could be my husband. So after my conversion, I went to higher institution and all of that. He went to his own school too. It was when I was going to 300 level when I prayed about the will of God. I started praying. In fact, years before I got to 300 level, I was praying to God, and God told me He was working on him. But I never knew who God was working on. But my own sincere prayer was that God, anybody that you're going to give me, I just want a child of God and nothing less than your will in my life. So when the revelation come around, when I was going to 300 level, I saw him in the revelation and he told me you are going to be my wife in that dream. And I know that dream could be very deceptive. I woke up, I was rejecting it. I said, God forbid, it's not possible. What will people say? You understand? What will people say and all of that? The more I kept rejecting the dream, the more it kept coming. The more it kept coming. The more, as in, I began to have feelings for him. And that was when
Having feelings for me,
I told my I
sister.
told my pastor about it. I think pastor called around that time and was like, sister, have you started praying and all of that? Then I told him, Daddy, what I saw, I don't believe it could be true and all of that. And pastor said, who is the person? I told pastor, and he happened to be pastor's son too. And pastor said, okay, December, you should come home. Then something that amazed me is that I kept telling God, I said, God, even if this is real, I don't want dream. I want I want spiritual backup, and I want other confirmation too. I don't just want dream confirmation. And I happen to be the sister called the fellowship. This was our revival service. I was at the pulpit. I was reading the scriptures and I got to Mark chapter 1, verse 11. Yes. Is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased. And then the thought flashed again on the pulpit. I was like, God, what's it about this man self? And there was a very day I called a shoe mender to amend my shoes in the hostel.
No,
Then
I
the
told you
man,
that the story will be long.
then when the man came in, the man said he was hungry, so I gave him food. I gave him bread and stew. I remember then and water. And then the man said, "Kneel down, let me pray for you." That's after he finished eating all of that. And he told me that if you do not get married from Kwara State, that I will not come from for your wedding. I was like, Kwara State. I think you mentioned the particular state and place specifically, and I never knew his state. I didn't know his own town at that time. Then the man left. That was the first time me seeing the man. That was the last time I saw the man. When he left, I went inside. I began to make inquiries on phone and where are you from and all of that. It happens to be that I say, God, could this be you? Is this how you work? And then that gave me some peace of mind. I knew that it was not my making, it is God. And whenever I kept telling God, what would people say? God would tell me, I did not allow you to be in the previous videos because of what people would say and all of that. And that was how it started. We went home. Then the pastor called us together. I came home that December. I remember December 25th.
When I shot my shot, I shoot my shot.
December 25th, what year, sir?
2013.
2013. So he proposed that year, and that was how the journey began.
So she said you were her primary, secondary school
Secondary
teacher.
school.
So is it that when you were teaching her, when then you used to see her? So what was going on in your mind? Were you like, oh, this sister is fine?
Interestingly, that time, maybe the breast on her breast, her chest, she wasn't even that time like all these school
Yes.
students.
She has
So
not grown breast.
no, I think we have started growing
Can
breast
you
that time.
imagine?
I think we started growing breast that time.
Okay, but the thought was not.
No, you know that time, by the grace of God, I went to that school like
As a
as a
revivalist.
missionary,
Yes.
and God really helped me to do a lot of things in that school. So many, what's it called? Students
Yes.
actually came to know Christ because like I always tell, I was teaching at that time with anointing, right? Apart from the fact that the chemistry I was teaching, the student turned out very well because the student I was just 19 when I started teaching chemistry at that time. I was a teenager, 19 years old, and I think I taught for 3 years before I eventually went to medical school. So for that my 3 years, I was there like a missionary. To the point that other schools began to desire I even come to their school.
The school was
Yeah,
turned
the school
upside down
was
for
like
Jesus.
Jesus took over that school. I remember when at a point when some people came to do accreditation, at either WAEC or NECO, they came to do accreditation in that school. They saw the students praying in every classroom. It was closing hour, but they saw students praying everywhere, the classroom, everywhere. So when students, miracles, signs
Signs
and
and
wonders,
wonders,
salvation always happen. That sometimes
deliverance,
students will even go and withdraw
see
their
vision,
friends. They'll go and
revelation.
see withdraw their friends from the hospital to come for the student vigil. And God, so with that, a lot of students. So it was in that revival period that she got born again in the school. When she got born again, not only her, so many students. So I also began to disciple them, lead them to the point whereby they got baptized in the Holy Ghost. So that was why the journey started. They were like small, small girls. It was like later, 8 years later, I was already in 500 level in the university. 8 years later, that was when the idea of having my wife started coming.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. So, what do you actually love so much about each other? Okay, you tell okay, ma, you tell us what's there before you tell us.
Actually,
Just
before,
one thing you love about.
I love his passion for God. The fact that he is a child of God. Because my prayer request then, I remember I used to jot it down that God, nothing, your child that fears and love you. So his love for God is what I just love so much about him.
So, and that's what attracted you to. Aside the confirmation.
Hmm. Actually, actually, before the confirmation, he's actually a man that every woman will desire to have because of his passion for God. He's also an intelligent man,
Yeah.
brain with so he's a man that
Okay.
every woman
Brain with
Okay,
what?
I also have with okay, I think I also have another question regarding to
so I should not finish it.
okay, don't finish it. Okay, let's hear from
Well, for her, I just love. I can't tell. This is what I like specifically. I just like the whole of her. Like there is no, like I don't know how to dissect a person. I just love the fact, the whole of Opeyemi, like the whole of her. I just like the whole of her.
okay, wow, that's
Eh,
wonderful. So, in regarding to you said you love is a person that every woman would desire. So, in regarding to that, do you think it's necessary to consider the to like this saying of getting attracted to physically get
Attraction.
attracted to your partner? So, do you think it's necessary or do you think it's carnal?
Okay, the Bible say beauty is vain,
Yeah.
but a man and be a woman that loves the Lord that
Fears the
that fears
Lord.
the Lord. Okay,
Shall be
beauty
praised.
is vain, but a woman that fears the Lord shall be praised. That is my driving force. That fear of God, because physical beauty might fade away. Anything can happen. So, what I do tell the younger ones is that you see beyond the container,
Yeah.
see the content of that container. So, physical attraction is not enough, but that's content that is inside that
but
container.
physical attraction is also important.
Okay,
but
sir,
it
let's
is
hear
not
your
enough.
view.
Yeah, it's not enough. Yeah, just like you said.
Get out.
So, physical attraction, yes, it's not enough. That's like you have said. But most of the time, when there is an inner conviction, when there is an inner conviction, over time, the physical attraction will come in. Yeah, I remember, sincerely speaking, when it was time for me to decide who I was going to marry, like I started as a carnal person, like somebody who does not give consideration for what God is saying. I started with what I want. I started with what I want, or let me say what I wanted, what I desire, and I actually went for what I desire. What I think make me feel attracted. There's a lady that I actually felt attracted to. There's a lady that I actually felt attracted to. Eventually, that lady is not the person who God want me to marry. So I was attracted to her based on her physical attraction. Yeah, it was later. In fact, by the time God was showing me to her, I didn't have that initial attraction. But as time went on, when I say, "Oh God, I just want to do your will, I just want to do what you want me to do." So then I started, because they said that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Aha. So like me now, if you ask me who is the most beautiful woman in this whole wide world, this is this girl. I'm sitting there by my side. Do you understand?
Yes,
So
sir.
I don't care whether she's beautiful to any other
Yeah.
person. In my own eyes, she's the most beautiful woman. Do you understand? So the moment I started talking with her, the attraction started coming, and my mind started becoming focused on her. And now I can't see any other woman who is as beautiful as this. So
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma. So, and also, do you think it's necessary to consider love? Like some people normally said, don't. It's not necessary that love is deceptive. So, do you think you should, like, for the person you want to marry, you should love the person? Yes, you have confirmation, you have that inner, yes, inner confirmation from God. Then what if that confirmation doesn't come with love? Maybe you don't love the person. So, and how can you relate this?
Okay, let's answer that question
Like,
first.
should you
Before I
love the
bring in my
person?
ideology.
well, my own concept of love differs.
Okay.
Yeah, my own concept of love is your ability to do things for the good of the other person, even when the person does not deserve it. Yeah, so if that is what I think love is, which I think it is, because the person who demonstrated love to us is God through Jesus Christ. And He came to show us, demonstrate that love, even when we do not deserve it. In fact, the Bible says, "But God commends His love towards us, in that while we were yet sinners, while we were still useless to Him, He came and demonstrated." So, if eventually I felt God is leading me to someone, and I cannot, most people confuse love with feelings, emotions. So, emotion is not love, attraction is not love. Love is an action word. So if God is saying, "Oh, this is the person that you are supposed to marry," all I should be thinking in my head is, "Oh, what
Good of
can I
that
do
person.
for this
Yeah.
person that will make the person become a better version of themselves?" That is love. All the other things about emotion, the moment you start demonstrating love to the person, you will see that emotion will start coming in, attraction will start coming. So when you start practicing love, all of those things follows. But most time people don't want to practice love, but they want to
Yeah,
feel the
emotion
emotion.
first.
Like for instance, now I always say that if I want to capture, for instance, now I will not capture a heart. Oh. If I want to capture your heart now, all I will do is to demonstrate love towards you. The moment I start demonstrating love to you, doing things for you, doing things, the next thing is that you start having affection for me. And that's why we say the moment you have your wife, you have your husband, demonstrate that love. You will see that everything will be, everybody, both of you will be so close with each other. So that's my own ideology of love, and I think it's God's ideology. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So, and another thing I would like to add is that there are some people that will say, God led me to this person, but I don't know the person. I do tell people that if God leads you to someone, God will plant the love of that person in your heart. And if the love is not there, you can go back to God. God, if really you have directed this person to me, create the love of this person in my heart. Put my love in the person's heart. So, and love is selfless. When you say you love somebody, you can do anything for the person and seek the good of that person even above your own good, you understand? So but there are some people out there that will be like, okay, I love this person, but they are bossy, they are they're authoritative, they do
Yeah.
things that affects the other person. So I didn't see love in that aspect. If you really love someone, you will do the what's
You make the person better.
better and the good of that person.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, so far for this past 9 years, what are the major challenges you came across in the marriage, and how were you able to tackle those challenges? Major challenges.
Okay, in the past 9 years, if I say there have not been challenges in the life, they've been up and downs, but God has seen us through all it all. We came from different background. I think some years ago I got this insight, this inspiration, let me say, that when I was growing up with my siblings, we had misunderstanding. There are times that we fight. The father is even the same father and the same mother that gave birth to us. We still fight. We have misunderstanding. Now coming to someone that was raised from another background that is different from my own, we should definitely know that there will be misunderstanding. But the ability to understand each other and give excuses on the behalf of that person is to make us to be united, and we can trash out issues, and we should ensure that in whenever there is issue in any relationship, we should we should talk about it. We should not bottle up. That has been what has been helping us over the years. If there is any issues, getting the perspective, the mindset that okay, is from another background and from another background, so there is tendency that there will be issues. Having this understanding has really helped me to be able to overcome challenges in our marriage. And again, giving excuses, I actually learned that from him. He will be like, you should give excuse on people's behalf. If anything happen, give excuse. That person might not intentionally hurt you. For example, when we got married initially, I was expecting him to know my mind, like knows everything that goes on in my, the expectation was so high. And that night I woke up, I started crying. He was busy sleeping. I started crying that, oh God, is it that this man did not know what is going on? This man did not know how I feel and all of that. He woke up suddenly, was like, what's wrong with you? He never had an idea of what was going on in my mind. He told me that day that you don't assume I know whatever is going on in your mind. Communicate. Communication is key in any relationship that must what strive. So we need to what communicate our needs. This is how challenges can be solved in any relationship. So we've had a lot of challenges, but having this understanding, we've been able to overcome those challenges.
Okay. Let's talk about the challenges and how God have helped her to overcome. So, and so far, do you actually think marriage is for endurance, as some normally
Well, endurance, that has not been our own experience. Like
say? Okay.
all along the way, we have enjoyed this marriage, isn't it?
Okay.
We have enjoyed this marriage. We have not endured it. Just like you said, there are some, there was a particular point in our relationship that I realized that for marriage to work, one person must make up his or her mind to pay the price of peace. So, and we decided and said, if one person is angry or upset, the other person should keep quiet. Yeah. So, and I'm happy to say, and I'm proud to say that so far I've paid the highest amount of the price of peace. I'm saying it in our presence. Deny it. So I have paid more of the price of peace. And I'm proud to say it. I'm proud of myself.
You know, when you were single, you have some perception about marriage, and now that you came into the marriage for the past 9 years, you've learned some lessons. So, what are just some of those lessons?
Praise the Lord. Actually, I'm
It's
actually
okay. Praise the Lord is
learned.
allowed.
Oh, hey. Should I say it?
No, you can say it. You can say it. You can
Okay. I've actually learned some endurance, how to endure, a bit tolerate, don't let me use endure, how to tolerate one another. I came from a home that we are always organized. Like we are organized when we are organized, and especially me.
So me, I'm not
You are
organized.
not so. So you are only organized with your books. So we are organized. I can swoop, clean. In fact, I've even reduced sweeping and cleaning and all of that. But eh, my husband there is the opposite. When I came, I was like, what is this? After sweeping, somebody will come from work, push you anywhere, put it's normal for some men, like, you understand? In my mind, I will arrange. Later, if you scatter, wardrobe, arrange if you scatter. So, this kind of thing could cause misunderstanding. So I had to tolerate him. In fact, yesterday I was reporting to mommy that mommy, oh, see your son, oh, till now, this is going to 9 years now. Till now, we still struggle to, I should say,
There's no big deal about it. I'm sure the other men out there will support me.
We still struggle to say go and bed
At night,
at
oh.
night.
Uh-huh.
Even during the day, if you struggle, he will tell me that him that did not bathe, is he not looking fine? His color not okay. That if you bathe too much, your color will change. I be sure that there's even so you know. Eh? Yeah,
Say it
I
now.
want my shot. Like your
You
body,
fade.
that your color will fade away if you bathe too much and all of that. And in my own house, it was not like that. You will bathe in the morning, we can bathe in the afternoon, we bathe in the night. So, but the reverse is the case, you know. At times, actually, it gets me upset, like very, very angry. Like, but I looked at it. Does it really worth scattering our marriage?
Just imagine.
At times,
Minor issue.
and then I might even sleep angry and wake up the next day and be like, what kind of man is this one? You know, bitch. In the night, me, I know that somebody is sleeping and you be telling me. So I was telling mommy yesterday, mommy say, you have to endure him. Oh. That is, I have abandoned him over to you. Oh, mommy, talk, or God, by now. So I've learned tolerance in this marriage. I've learned that we ought to tolerate each other's excesses. There is no perfect person out there.
Yes.
It is even when you get to the marriage, I want us to know every singles out there that when you are in a relationship, you'll be seeing the good side of
Yes.
the man. It is when you get into the marriage, you
Yeah.
really know the real color, the true
Yes,
color
of
of the
course.
man. And if your expectation is high, that could lead to the
Issue,
relationship to be
yeah.
disrupted. But when you have little
Yes.
expectation, is not too high, don't look so high. You see that Jim brother that you think is Jim, that very neat brother outside there. You might get inside and the brother is not as organized, as neat as Jim, the way you think it.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to lower your expectation. This is part of what I've learned, and you should be able to tolerate one another. And I've learned to also give excuses on each other's behalf. At times, maybe it's at work, because of his profession. And my mom also warned me about this, that you know that your husband is a doctor. Don't get unnecessarily agitated over issues that maybe he stays late at work or people are around him, female are around you and all of that. Don't be envious or something so that you not give yourself hypertension. This I have come to realize that, and he's a man of people, that people come around him, and because I've trusted him to be a child of God, I was not thinking the
Yeah,
other way
other way.
around. So another thing that is important in your marriage and relationship is trust.
Yeah.
Trust. I've learned to trust him, and I've learned that trust is a key for any relationship that will work. If you did not trust your husband, your partner, just like his profession like this,
Yes.
one will just have BP for nothing. So trust is also a key in any relationship that must be successful. And importantly, we need to put God at the center. What has helped us thus far is God. You know, when God led, I could go to God confidently if anything happen and say, God, oh, this your son, see how he's doing, Help me to warn him. And then God will do that. Because he hears from God. He knows how God speaks to him. God cautions him on some issues. So God should be the center of the relationship, and before choosing to ensure that God leads into the relationship, so that if there is any issue in the relationship that you cannot handle, you can hand it over to God.
Hmm. Epistle.
Okay, so let's hear from you now. What are some of the things you've learned so far?
Well, she has said a lot. On my own part, let me just say, by God's grace, because it's the grace of God, I did not enter a marriage because I want to get married. I entered marriage intentionally. I put all intentionality
Prepared.
into. I came into the marriage prepared, and every day I see the things I prepared for unfolding. So, like everything that has happened to me or is happening in our marriage so far, none of them has happened to me as a surprise. So, marriage is not something that I took my time because I was lucky to be exposed to books, tapes by renowned authors, preachers who have talked about how to prepare for marriage. I remember the first time I had Bishop Oyedepo mention the system. He said, You don't prepare in marriage. You prepare for marriage. Do you know that statement rang a bell? And I began to prepare for marriage. I began to gather books, gather tapes, read, listen. So to the point that what we have not started experiencing in our marriage, I already know what is going to happen. And every day in obedience to God, following them one after the other, makes me to continue. Now, the lesson I'm learning is that I am learning the practicability of the things
Yes.
I have read, the things I have had. So I'm now using my own marriage as a test run. So, and I wanted to start counseling couples when our marriage was around 3 years, 3 year plus. Our mentor told me and said, if he ever sees my article on marriage again, he is going to comment that people should not listen to me. That he does not permit me to talk to married people until my marriage is at least 5 years. That whatever I think I know, I
I
should
don't know
practice it
anything.
for at least 5 years. Then after that, I can begin to talk about marriage to people. So, and that's what I did. I just kept quiet and kept practicing. And practice is beautiful when you are with the right partner. You understand? So, she's one of my experimental specimen. So, and every now and then we practice. Okay, sometimes when I throw it to her, we see does it work? I watch. Oh, this thing is working. Oh, and then we adopt it. You get?
Even for the past 9 years, you are still getting to know me.
No, we keep practicing. We keep practicing because, for instance, now you have never been in a relationship for 10 years before. I don't know what you will do when you are 10 years. I don't know what you will do when you are 15 years or 20 years. Do you get? Whereas we have seen people who have been in marriage for 50 years, 60 years. So those are the people that can sit down and teach everybody all along the way. But me now, 9 years, what do I know? So I will keep practicing what I've learned from books, and then we'll see the practicability. So keep being supportive like you have been. Yeah, you've been a very good experimental
Thank you so
partner.
much.
That statement rang a bell, and I began to prepare for marriage. I began to gather books, gather tapes, read, listen. So to the point that what we have not started experiencing in our marriage, I already know what is going to happen. And every day in obedience to God, following them one after the other, makes me to continue. Now, the lesson I'm learning is that I am learning the practicability of the things
Yes.
I have read, the things I have had. So I'm now using my own marriage as a test run. So, and I wanted to start counseling couples when our marriage was around 3 years, 3 year plus. Our mentor told me and said, if he ever sees my article on marriage again, he is going to comment that people should not listen to me. That he does not permit me to talk to married people until my marriage is at least 5 years. That whatever I think I know, I
I
should
don't know
practice it
anything.
for at least 5 years. Then after that, I can begin to talk about marriage to people. So, and that's what I did. I just kept quiet and kept practicing. And practice is beautiful when you are with the right partner. You understand? So she's one of my experimental specimen. So, and every now and then we practice. Okay, sometimes when I throw it to her, we see does it work? I watch. Oh, this thing is working. Oh, and then we adopt it. You get?
Even for the past 9 years, you are still getting to know me.
No, we keep practicing. We keep practicing because, for instance, now you have never been in a relationship for 10 years before. I don't know what you will do when you are 10 years. I don't know what you will do when you are 15 years or 20 years. Do you get? Whereas we have seen people who have been in marriage for 50 years, 60 years. So those are the people that can sit down and teach everybody all along the way. But me now, 9 years, what do I know? So I will keep practicing what I've learned from books, and then we'll see the practicability. So keep being supportive like you have been. Yeah, you've been a very good experimental
Thank you so
partner.
much. Thank you so much. Has been wonderful. I myself have been learning a lot. So finally, what is your advice to the singles?
Okay, from my hand, actually, I've been trying to write, put up a write up, and I would like to express my mind on that.
Okay.
Since morning, I was telling him that I've not been able to articulate the write up. In that write up, I remember decades ago, like some years ago, about 14, 13 years ago, I was out there looking for admission in Ekiti, and I was so passionate for God after my secondary school. And it was one of those days that I go out for my house to house evangelism. I met this lady with her boyfriend, and I preached to her, I preached to her boyfriend. I saw her as my prospective convert, and I started following her up. At times I see the boyfriend, so I preached to the guy. And then there was a particular day. In fact, I took her to church, connected her to my pastor and all of that. But she said she don't want to leave the boy because the boy was looking for admission for him and all of that. But the relationship is threatened. A lot of She exposed a lot of secret to me. Then because of that, I feared for her. This is a young lady. So one of those days when I went for follow up, as I was talking to her, you need to quit this relationship. This is the only way you can help yourself and focus on God. Then that a woman just said, don't listen to her. All this SU that they will not even see husband to marry. Let's see what she will marry. Ah, that touched me. I felt it really eated me that year. Then I heard from behind, that was my uncle because my house was close to. And my uncle said, thank you, Esheo in Yoruba. Esheo tí ò bá dúró de will of God, ṣé will èṣù ni kó dúró de? Like, if she did not wait for the will
Yeah,
of God,
the
should
will
she
of
wait for the
devil,
will of
yeah.
the devil? She now say, oh man, get inside. My uncle is very dramatic.
Yeah.
But he knows that I lived the life. I went inside. And I was still struggling with admission. After 3, 4 years of leaving school, I've not gotten admission. So that word eated me, and I said, God, I just hope my marriage will work. Like, I got inside, I hope I will marry right here. Because now that I'm struggling with admission, I've not gotten admission. That's why how devoted I am to you, God. And then now I begin to think about it. And that year, I was like, God, help me to marry you. To shut the naysayer, as in to put them to shame. Then the girlfriend of that my uncle came in and was like, Auntie Ope, you are crying. Why are you crying? Don't mind that woman. Oh. She that waited for the will of the devil. That's how the husband used to beat her every time. That don't mind her. But it was a prayer point actually. I went to God and I prayed out to God. Then my advice to the single is that you see those waiting period, those times that you're serving God, there might be some obstacles, some delays, some challenges, and the devil might want to throw that at you to get you discouraged. Because I actually wanted to be discouraged at that time, but know that your waiting is not a waste of time. You are not wasting away when you are waiting, and it actually pays to wait for God. When you wait for God in the choice of marriage, it will give you the best and the best of the best. So while you're waiting, don't be weary, don't be tired. The Bible says, wait on the Lord, be of full courage, and Jesus shall strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. It pays to wait on God, and I'm enjoying the benefit of waiting on God when it comes to the aspect of my marriage. No regrets, no doubts today, to the glory of God. It's worth waiting. What I am enjoying in my marriage.
Wow. Thank God. So, sir,
Myself,
that's actually the last question. So
okay,
let's
thank you.
final advice.
She has given us an epistle already. So I will just be brief. My advice to the single is marriage is beautiful. Marriage is beautiful. All you need to do is to enter marriage with your friend, someone you love, and most importantly, the only way you can know that someone is your friend, someone is someone you actually love, is that you allow God to choose for you. My wife always make a quote, whether she's the one that quoted it or she read it somewhere, but she always said it that God always reserves the best for those
Give the
who
choice.
live
The
the
choice
choice with
with
Him.
him.
So you can leave the choice with God, and very importantly, delight yourself in the Lord. I remember I was in 400 level those years in medical school when I was pursuing God. Like, I just read a book at that time. The title of the book was God Chasers. The God Chasers. So in that book, there was a quote there that is a way you keep chasing after God, and the time will come, the chased will become the chaser. That God that you have been chased will now turn around and start chasing you. And that was the way I began to chase after God. I was pursuing after God. God, at that time I developed, I said, oh God, from today, I remember I made that vow. I said, I'm going to be waiting on you 30 minutes every evening. 30 minutes every evening. It was during those period of waiting on God that one day I was just there sitting down. I didn't know what, I was just there, focused, and I just had in my spirit, son, because you have delighted in me, I will make sure you marry right. So the moment I had that, everything dissolved, like every anxiety about marriage dissolved. when people are talking about marriages, I will just relax myself, I tell myself I will marry right. Why? Because I heard what God has spoken to me. One, delight yourself in the Lord. Number two, embrace marriage with an open heart. Number three, take intentionally prepare for marriage. I remember after we started our courtship, I think it was some months of the courtship, and I called, I said, look, the fact that we are both led by God to marry does not mean that our marriage will work. Both of us have to work together to make it work. And that thing hurts her. She thought maybe I did not love her. And I said, no, I'm telling you the facts. Even though I am a man of faith, I also know that faith without work is useless. So, whatever faith we have in God, we must back it up with action, because God will not come from heaven and make your wife not to be angry with you, make your husband not to be angry with you. You have to intentionally. That was when I developed the concept of forgiveness. My own definition of forgiveness is something you give before the person commits the offense. So that forgiveness is going from two words: before, and give. So they remove the be and now put for give. So you forgive someone in advance, even before the very offense. And that is my approach in this marriage. I forgive. Even when my wife does anything wrong, I don't even see it any longer. Because she has already been forgiven, whatever it is. So, when you approach marriage like that, prepare for it, be ready to forgive. What in medicine we call it PRN. Forgive as much as the offense comes. Like PRN means that the offense comes, forgiveness has come. Offense come, forgiveness has taken over. Like that, because the Bible, even Jesus Christ said, offense will always come. So we must learn to forgive. So marriage is a very beautiful thing. It's one of those beautiful things that has happened to me, and I'm happy that I'm in this marriage with a friend. Thank you.
I'm really happy. Your marriage will continue to be a blessing. Well, it has really been a blessing. I think I met it wasn't it, for 2 years now that I met you people, and it has been a blessing knowing you people. I think I used to say that, wow, these couples, I love the way they are serving God together, the purpose and everything. So that it was always like, it's good to marry somebody who has the same vision, the same purpose, or who is ready to come into your purpose, you know. So it has been one of the lessons I've been learning. So I've been following the both of you up. So it has been an amazing one. So, and it's wonderful hearing your story today. And I pray God, the Lord will continue to uphold this family. The Lord will continue to keep you, keep the family, and the Lord will continue to help you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm happy to hear.
Thank you. Thank you
So,
too.
thank
Yeah,
God.
I'm happy to be
Pray
here.
that you will not marry
Amen.
on
Amen.
that your wedding day. Wow,
My own fila
Abada.
my own fila will be abeti aja.
Amen. Lord.
Thank you.